Something else I want to show you. Let's pretend for a minute that this drawing is done, okay? And I'm looking here, and what I'm going to do, wait, let me quickly draw this in. I want to give you an idea, okay? And this is very, very, very important. I'm just going to quickly draw in that big vessel, just for a second. It comes over here. It doesn't quite make it over to there, not quite. It comes something like this. Okay. This comes behind here. I'm really not doing this beautiful thing any justice. But it doesn't matter for now. That's not my point. Okay, this makes it all the way over into this square. Wait, home base again, home base. Okay. Not quite halfway. Well, actually, within this square, about halfway. Right about there. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick a line, and it so happens to be my, my home base line. And I'm going to put a line marker on my plumb. I'm going to put a line marker here and a line marker there. Okay? So here we are. I'm getting 2 line markers. Got 2 of them. Coming back to my spot. And I'm just looking for now, and I can see that one of the line markers is going to have to go right somewhere around here. Okay. Hey, I'll just use these. Why not? Okay. Now this is when your drawing's done. You don't do this now. When your drawing's done, you do this, then slide this one up. Looking again, looking straight through, sliding it back down a little. Checking my feet. Okay, that's pretty good. What am I doing? I am setting up a new point of measurement. Here, which is the top of that handle, and here the bottom of the handle. Okay? I'm remembering, now imagine if this were a very complete drawing, I would be able to see that in fact my line of sight is not exactly on the halfway of that curve. It's slightly off to the right, okay? I would see that this point down here is not the dead center of that curve either. I'm looking at that, and here's why. Now watch me. I'm pushing this out of the way. I'm taking this off, okay? Now this is when your drawing is finished, but not, not so soon. But I'm jumping ahead here, but this is very important, okay? I'm putting this back on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those 2 marks there in the same place that they were before. And this takes a little bit of doing, but it's not as hard as it looks because I've got a very adjustable arm that goes back and forth. I'm looking, I see first of all it has to be back a little bit. Okay? So I'm coming back here like that. I'm sure it's going to have to come out too. And I went a little bit too far. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because let's say I finish the drawing and I start to paint. Almost everyone is going to start going like this or like this. This keeps you with one line where you should be, and that's where you should stay. I'm not saying you need all the other strings, but having just one line is really nice to have. Okay, I'm very close now to at least that vertical thing. Now I've got to adjust my markers. They both need to come down a little bit. Just a little bit more. Overshot a little. I'm there. Okay. Now, when you go to paint or to finish the drawing, sometimes the strings start to give you a headache. They do. They feel like they're in the way. You take them away and then you get this kind of fresh look. But keep your spot. It's very important that you maintain your line of sight. Once I made a painting of a typewriter. I did my careful drawing with the grid. I took it away, I started painting, and as painters often do, I started to get a little bit loosey and crazy about where things were. Then I started to finish the keys and radiate from one side of the typewriter to the other. When I got to the last keys, I saw that I had a space about that much too big between the last keys and the body of the typewriter. And insane man that I am, I wiped all the keys off and started all over. About 5 days of work, and it's because what I had done is I had shifted a little bit one way and not paid attention to my line of sight and painted them as I saw them, which was off, okay? And I painted them accurately, but off, relative to the way I had made my drawing. And so I learned that lesson. Keep your line of sight consistent. It's one of the most important things you can have, because even the slightest deviation from that, you'll start, if you're doing a portrait, you'll start showing slightly more of a person's cheek over here than you ought to. And next thing you know, the person's head looks, you know, like it's twisting around this way. And all you did was move. All you did was move a little bit. You have to keep these things in mind. So rehanging this is very useful. And look, this is out of the way. I've got my plumb and I'm all set. I know exactly where I need to be. That's why this is so useful, is because it's so adjustable. You can get back there a lot easier than it looks. It's not hard to do, you know, and there you are. So, in conclusion, learn to use this, learn to love the grid, and learn to be excited about the weird shapes that life is really made up of. And then, after you've done it for a while, put it away and start over. Put it away and draw without it for a while, then bring it back again and draw some more. And it's this constant back and forth of learning it, and like letting it be the most merciless drill instructor that you can imagine as far as strictness. You know, you're not going, if there's one fold out of place on your bed, you're going to get yelled at with this thing. That's what's going to happen to you. But then you put it away, and you learn how to use your eyes, and no grid, no nothing. Then you bring it back again, you get schooled all over. And it's absolutely something that can change the way you see. So I challenge you to give this a go, and you won't be disappointed, okay? In our next segments, we're going to be looking at how to apply this to a portrait and a landscape. And in, well, you know, a landscape, we're also going to be doing an interior, which in many ways is a landscape. It has more perspective in it sometimes, but we're going to be seeing how those two things relate. Also, we're going to be looking at how to use different size squares, how to proportionately set up an incommensurate number of squares on a given surface. We'll be doing a little bit more geometry. For the time being, though, you've got plenty to work on, so good luck.